in this Vedic literature. So they took care of their kingdom not only for their material needs, but also for their spiritual needs. That was the king's main duty, to look after the kingdom, not only materially, making sure everyone is provided for, there is enough crops, there is no diseases, etc. People are in comfort, but also main thing is people's spiritual growth. Which politician these days, does that? Huh? Perhaps, yeah. Let's not get into political details and campaigns of people, but very few, right, if any. So, every few years we have these councillors or whoever, they come from door to door saying, vote for us. Even in India, we see that, right? Political parties. How many actually say that we are going to, give you spiritual protection? No one. No one. Yeah. So that is how over the years Lord Krishna is saying this knowledge was broken. Yeah. And hence why, Arjuna, I am now narrating this to you again. So please listen. And why am I choosing you, Arjuna? You had asked this question, Karthik Prabhu, last time. Because you are my dear friend and you are now also my disciple. Because in the second chapter, verse 2.7, Arjuna has surrendered to Krishna. If you remember that verse, you have the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhu. You can read out Karpanya Dosho Pahata Swabhava 2.7.
कार्पण्य दोषो पहत स्वभाव पृच्छामि त्वां धर्म
Samudracheta
यच्चेह्यः
Syan
निश्चितं
Bruhitan Me
शिष्यस्येहं शाधि मां त्वां
Prapanna. Absolutely. So he's saying, Shishyasteham, now I am your disciple, surrendered to you. Hence why Krishna has chosen Arjuna. Yeah? So we must remember that. So this is what is happening in the first 3 shlokas of chapter 4. Lord Krishna is saying that I narrated it to the sun god and the disciplic succession. It was then passed through the Rajarishis, but this disciplic chain was broken. This knowledge was lost. Hence why now I'm choosing you, Arjuna. Why? Because you're my friend, you're my disciple. Okay? And then finally, after this, in 4.4, which I don't have over here, but I'm going to tell you about it. In Bhagavad Gita 4.4, Arjuna now is asking Lord Krishna that you are standing here in front of me. You're telling me you passed it to the sun god millions of years ago, but you still look young. So how is it possible? How do I believe? Because you're telling me, sun god, we're talking about millions of years ago. How is it possible? Yeah? What are your thoughts? Did any of you have that question? No. Why did you not have that question? So one should always have questions. Yeah? Like Arjuna did, so we should think. Shiva, is that a valid question? Arjuna is asking Krishna. Valid question, right? Okay. So then Lord Krishna is now finally starting to explain about himself in verse 4.5 and 6. So he's telling Arjuna that, oh Arjuna, my birth and death are not like yours. See, Arjuna is thinking that he himself is not a million years old. So he is thinking Krishna is just like him. So how is it possible Krishna was alive millions of years ago? So Lord Krishna is telling him, my birth and death, or my appearance and disappearance, are not like yours. Yeah? He's saying that I appear in my original transcendental form, which is unborn and never dies. I appear by my own will. Does anybody over here remember deciding, okay, I'm going to be born now in this family, in this gender, in this part of India? Did you decide, Ikshita? No? Shiva, I'm sure you did. Okay. So we can't decide, can we? We can't appear by our own will. Can we disappear by our own will? Can anyone decide when they're going to die or give up their body? Maybe some yogis, have that siddhi, Yeah. Uh, but can most of us decide when we are going to leave? No. But Lord Krishna can. Yeah. Now the other thing we learned in chapter 2 was that we are not the body, we are the soul. So there is a difference between our body and our soul, right? Yes. We are not a body with a soul. We are a soul with a body. Does that make sense? We must remember that. We are not a body which has a soul. We are a soul which has a body. Yeah? Which means that there is a difference between our soul and our body. But with Lord Krishna, that's not the case. There is no difference between his soul and body. So that is why he's saying in 4.6 that I appear in my original transcendental form. Transcendental means there is no difference between his soul and his body. His body is also spiritual. Okay? Any questions over here?
One question I have.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So at these times, right, like Arjuna would have obviously gone through multiple educations and multiple gurukuls, right? So what would they have learnt at that time if this knowledge was not obvious?
Yeah, very good question. Very good question. So the question also arises, and let me, just sort of elaborate on what you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is that Arjuna and say the rest of the Pandavas, or even the Kauravas for that matter, they all went to Gurukul, they all had this knowledge. So why were these questions arising in Arjuna's mind? Yes? What are your thoughts? What's happening here? That's a really good question.
So what I think is right.
Mhm.
Sometimes we know the right thing, but somebody has to remind us this is the right thing.
Yes, that's one explanation. Correct. Anything else? Any other thoughts?
Maybe he interpreted it in the wrong way.
Yeah, maybe he interpreted the knowledge and he didn't understand it correctly. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe the knowledge was too complex and Krishna was
Maybe the knowledge was too complex.
Krishna is trying to simplify it.
Yeah. Okay.
He's attached with his family members. That's why he can't follow that rule.
Yeah. So maybe he understands it, but the consciousness is such that he is still attached to the family. Yeah. So see, Arjuna is actually an enlightened soul, completely enlightened soul. Yeah. And this we understand from the explanation based on the Bhagavad Gita by the different acharyas in this parampara. Yeah. So they explain that Arjuna is a completely enlightened soul. He already had all this knowledge, but he was put into bewilderment by Lord Krishna, so that this knowledge which was broken is now repeated again and is passed on to mankind for the Kali Yuga for us. Yeah. So, many a times, for example, sometimes when we are in a class, someone may ask a question, even an intelligent student can ask a question. It's not that they don't always know, but sometimes question is asked for the benefit of others. Yeah? So that is what is happening here. So Arjuna is a first class number 1 student, but he's asking these questions for our benefit. Yeah? But at the same time, he's not pretending. He's not pretending. He's actually put into that bewilderment by the arrangement of the Lord. Okay? So for that matter, even the Kauravas, they knew what was right, what was wrong. But their consciousness, like you pointed out, Mataji, their consciousness was very low. Yeah? Lust. Yeah? Like we read in chapter 3, that lust is that eternal enemy which stops us from doing even those things which we know to be correct. Okay? Answers your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Really good question. Okay, so let's move on. So when was this knowledge passed? So Mayushka just recited the shloka for us. Shiva, you know the shloka? Yada yada hi dharmasya. Can you? Line by line. So just first line and then we'll repeat after you. Yeah?
Yada yada hi dharmasya
Yada yada hi dharmasya
glanirvavati bharata
glanirvavati bharata
abhyutanam adharmasya
अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य
तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्.
तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्. Read the
Whenever
translation.
and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, a descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself.
Yeah. So Lord Krishna is telling us when he appears, yeah, when there is a rise in irreligion, like the whole war of Mahabharata. Yeah. And the next shloka, do you know this one? Yeah, go for it, Ipshita. We'll repeat after you. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge.
To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to reestablish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium.
Yes. So Lord Krishna is saying when he appears and why he appears as well. Yeah. He appears when there is a rise in irreligion, and why he appears is to deliver the pious, so to protect his devotees. And Shiva, the question you were asking me before, to punish the baddies, to annihilate the miscreants, means to punish the baddies. So whenever there is a rise of baddies on this earth, so a lot of irreligion, that is when he appears to punish them. Okay?
One question I have.
Yes, please.
So, based on the law of karma, right? Like any action, the nature or God would take care of the reactions for that soul, right? So why God has to come and actually put a stop on that immediately?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Then anyway, the karmic, cycle is going to happen, but sometimes the rise of irreligion is so much that an immediate action is needed then and there. Yeah, technically you're right. The Lord need not come at all. He can be wherever he is and just give a heart attack to Duryodhana. Why he needs to come? Why this whole war? Huh? And if you think about the Prahlad Narsimha pastime as well, the Lord took all this trouble of coming in the form of Narsimha Swami, coming out through that pillar. So much so-called trouble we think of. He could just sit there and just, with the rise of an eyebrow, he can, annihilate anything. But why he comes is to, actually this first part is more important, to protect his devotees. Yeah, he comes because his devotees call out to him. So more than punishing the miscreants, he is not at all in fact interested. He need not come. This material nature, this material world he has created so perfectly that without him being involved, it's doing its own job. Yeah, but he comes, why? Because his devotees are calling out to him.
To establish the trust on.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So we've looked at when he comes. So you remember chapter 4, the first thing I said is, in chapter 3 we learned we have to sacrifice the results of our karma to Krishna. And chapter 4 I said we are going to learn who is Krishna. So this is giving us more information. In the first, few verses he said that he is different to us. How his appearance and disappearance are different to us. He comes by his own will. He has a transcendental body. So we are learning more about the Lord. He is also told when he comes, why he comes. Yeah. And now we'll understand what the outcome of understanding is. Having this transcendental knowledge, what's the outcome? Why do we need to know? Yeah. So Vishwanatha Prabhu, can you read out verse by line by line?
Janma karma cha me piyam
Janma karma cha me divyam
evam yo veti tatvata
evam yo veti tatvata
tyaktva deham punarjanma
naiti mam eti sorjuna.
Translation: one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving this body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode over Shiva.
Yes. So why is it important to know about the Lord? Because once we fully, not only theoretically understand who Lord Krishna is, but actually realize and surrender unto Him, knowing who He actually is, once we get to that stage, then there is no need for us to take up another material body. That's it. No more material bodies. We are out of the cycle of birth, old age, disease, death. No need. We don't know if our next body is going to be human. It could be anything. Yeah? So once we actually understand, and realize who the Lord is, then we don't need to take up another material body. So there is no question of being affected by the three types of klesha. Do you remember the three miseries in the material world? Do you remember? Miseries caused by your own body and mind, miseries caused by other living entities, and miseries caused by nature. So if you don't have a material body, then there's no question of suffering, right? Okay? Right. Okay, so far? Haribol, I think my phone is going. Okay, so the next section is actually how do we accurately understand this knowledge and then apply it in our lives. Okay, so those are the next few verses from 11 to 15, and in this section we are going to see that how actually Lord Krishna and Shiva, this will answer your question. So Shiva asked me a beautiful question. Is it okay if I share with the rest? So Shiva's question was, why does the Lord, who is everybody's father, because we are all his children, right? So why does he kill? Why does he have to kill the baddies? Okay, so hopefully you'll understand more when we understand this section, yeah? So Lord Krishna is neutral. He has nothing to do with anybody's karma. He is completely aloof from the material creation, okay? And he only reciprocates. He's neutral, but he reciprocates. We'll understand this in a bit more detail in the next few shlokas, yeah? He gives us fruits according to our desire and our karma, yeah? And when we understand Krishna in this way, then we are free from material bondage. Okay, so let's understand this section. So in 4.11, Lord Krishna is saying, Ye yatha mam prapadyante
ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते
tams tathaiva bhajamyaham
तंस्तथैव भजाम्यहम्
mam vartamanu vartante
मम वर्तमानुवर्तन्ते
manushya partha sarvasha.
मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः
Vivek Prabhu, you would like to read translation?
As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respect, O son of Partha.
Son of Pratha.
Pratha.
So another name for Mother Kunti is Pratha. So hence why Arjuna is called as son of Pratha. Yeah. So here Lord Krishna is saying that as you surrender to me, so I reward accordingly. What does that mean? Anybody? In your own words, can you
As
explain?
much devotion you are having for me.
Yeah. So if you approach, the way you approach Lord, He's going to reciprocate. Yeah, so it's not that He wants to kill the baddies. He doesn't want to. He's just waiting for them to turn to Him. If they actually repent and turn to Him, He is ready to forgive. But the problem is we don't. That's the problem. He is sitting right next to us, our soul, within the heart. Our soul is within this area. We'll learn a little more about the soul in, the further chapters. But the soul is situated within the region of the heart. And right next to the soul is the super soul, Paramatma. So Lord Krishna expands himself, and as the Paramatma, he is sitting right next to our soul. And he's waiting for us to just turn our face towards him. Yeah? As soon as we do that, he is ready to accept us. He knows we are full of faults. That's okay. He loves us. The beauty of the Lord is that He loves us much more than we love Him. Much more. We can't even imagine. And He is just waiting for us to look at Him once. But we are so engrossed in our cooking and cleaning and job and children and work and grocery shopping and whatnot. We have no time. Yeah. So how do we now start applying this in our day-to-day lives? We'll have a look at that as well. Okay. So how do we actually apply this knowledge now in our day-to-day lives? So let's have a look. Chaturvarnam maya shrishtam गुणकर्म विभागशः तस्य कर्तारम् अप्यमाम् विद्याकर्तारम् अव्ययम्. One of you like to read translation, please?
According to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am at the non-doer, being unchanging.
Yes. So here there is few points to take away. One, let's look at the last thing first. So he's saying I am the non-doer, yeah, because I'm unchangeable, which means what Lord Krishna is saying over here that the material world and the divisions within the material world, the four divisions which we'll look at in a second, he's saying they have been created by me. So the material world has been created by him. The laws of the material world have been created by him, but he has nothing to do with them. So this whole karmic cycle, he has nothing to do with them at all. He is aloof unless and until we turn to him. So the day we turn to him and say, Lord Krishna, I am completely yours. I completely surrender my mind, body, words to you. You please take care. I have sinned. I've done so many bad things. I may have done so many good things. I don't expect any results. I just surrender to you. And the beauty is that actually he does accept our surrender. So, from that day, all our karmic reactions actually stop. Yeah, so it's very powerful. Surrender is very powerful. So we'll look at how we do that. Okay. So to make it easy for us to do that, Lord Krishna is saying that he has actually divided this society into Chaturvarnam. Chaturvarnam means the four divisions of human society. Brahmana, Kshatriya, before Shudra is Vaishya and Shudra. Why has he divided into these four?
These are the four things that we do generally
Yeah. So these are the four types of consciousness. Yeah. So unfortunately, within India, we see a perverted reflection of this in the society. Yeah? The politicians have completely, sort of twisted this sort of knowledge and have used it to their advantage. The way Shudras are treated, or the way Brahmanas were treated in the past. That's not the understanding of it at all, the way we see it in India. It's not a political division at all. It was a division by consciousness and qualities. It is said that in the Kali Yuga, and this appears in the Srimad Bhagavatam, this explanation, that in the Kali Yuga we are all born Shudras. Each and every one of us in the Kali Yuga is a Shudra. Shudra means Shudra by consciousness. Completely in the mode of ignorance. So, quite often people will say, oh, I'm a Brahmana. Yeah? So I come from my mother is a Brahmana. So if we say Indian, I come from a Brahmin family. So, many of my cousins, they're all Brahmanas, born in so-called Brahmin families. They're complete alcoholics. They are complete meat eaters. And so many bad activities they are doing. So how are they Brahmana then? How many of us are and know people who are so-called Brahmanas, but their consciousness is worse than animals? Yeah. And then we see so many so-called someone born in a Shudra family who actually are becoming great sannyasis. Yeah. So the Kali Yuga understanding, especially in India, the understanding of this Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra is completely wrong on the political basis. The actual understanding is this. The Lord created these four Chaturvarnam to help us elevate our consciousness. Yeah. So no one is a Brahmana by birth, you are a Brahmana by your qualities. Same way, no one is a Shudra or Kshatriya or Vaishya by birth, we become that by our qualities. Yeah. So see, those who are parents or maybe those who are not married within your family, you may see your siblings, your parents, they are of a certain nature. Yeah. So see, I have two boys, 16-year-old and 13-year-old. And the 16-year-old, right from his birth, he's a very calm child, extremely calm. He's quite, very academic. He's very patient. He's very sort of, understanding. Automatically, you can see the Brahminical qualities. My younger one is very feisty, very passionate, and, can be stubborn. And once he decides something, that's it. He will get it done. So more the Kshatriya spirit. Yeah? And we see that. You can see that in children. You can see that in people around us. Yeah? So that is what this means. So why did Lord Krishna create these divisions? Is to help us understand, apply this knowledge in whatever mode of consciousness you are in, stay there, apply this and go back to Godhead. So the easiest way to apply this knowledge wherever we are in this Chaturvarna is by chanting the holy names of the Lord. What we were doing before, the Kirtan. Yeah. Obviously at home it may not be easy to do Kirtan all the time. Yeah. But we can do some chanting on the beads. Yeah. All of us, devotees have beads. It's in my bag. There you go. You can just remove it. I'm sure. So if you don't have chanting beads, please let me know. I have quite a few. So we keep them in these bead bags because it keeps them clean. Yeah. And then it's 108 beads on every mala. And what we do is we go around the beads and we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is, you can repeat with me, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in the Kali Santaran Upanishad, there is an Upanishad called Kali Santaran. Kali Santaran Upanishad. It is said that Harir Nama, Harir Nameva Kevalam Kalau Nasteva Gatir Anyatha, which means that in this age of Kali, chanting the holy names of the Lord, chanting the holy names of the Lord, chanting the holy names of the Lord is the only solution. Yeah? And again it says, Kalam Nasteva. There is no other solution, no other solution, no other solution. Why 3 times? Because we don't understand when we are told once. How many times do we have to tell each other, do this, do this, do this? So this chanting of the Mahamantra is the easiest way to surrender to Lord Krishna. Because there is no difference between the Lord and His name. So when we chant, we are actually associating with the Lord directly. When we are chanting this Mahamantra, the Lord is actually present with us. So it has huge potency. So obviously, most of us devotees will chant on this mala 16 times, a day. It takes us around 1.5 to 2 hours. But you can just start with doing one mala, which shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. Yeah? So that's an easy way to apply in your day-to-day lives. So that was the second section. The third section is removing reactions and understanding karma on the platform of jnana. Let's see what we're going to learn in this section. Is that one can perform detached actions in Krishna's service by applying this transcendental knowledge. And those activities are called akarma. For example, chanting attracts no karmic reactions. It's an akarmic activity. Okay? Akarma refers to actions which have no reactions because they are on the absolute platform. Okay? So can all of you give me some more examples of akarmic activities? So one is chanting. Any other activities that you can think of having prasad, and before that,
Offered bhoga.
yeah, offering bhoga to the Lord, and then actually eating that prasad is also an akarmic activity, because otherwise, when we eat food, yeah, in chapter 3, verse 11, Lord Krishna is explaining that actually when we eat food, we are only eating sin, even if we are eating vegetarian food, because we are cutting the vegetables, yeah, we are chopping them. There's so many microorganisms we can't even see with our naked eye, which we are killing. Who is responsible? But Lord Krishna is explaining, yeah, in the 9th chapter, 26th shloka, that once we offer this food to the Lord, then He accepts it. And then there is no karmic reaction for us. Okay? So we can offer the food to Lord and then eat it. Any other activities? Dancing in the kirtan? Yeah? So any activity. What other activities can you tell me from your day-to-day life?
Working.
Huh?
Working.
Working? How can that be karmic? Yeah,
Or
that's a great example.
supporting a Krishna conscious family.
Yeah. So we are working to earn money to do what? Main thing is food and shelter, right? For most important needs. Huh? iPad, what? iPhone, no? Okay. I know you weren't saying that. Okay. So yeah. So working, we work. So, to earn money, to mainly eat. So if we offer bhoga, that one act of offering bhoga to the Lord, just that one activity, actually purifies 99% of the other activities we do in the day. We are spending 8 to 10 hours at work. All of that is spiritualized, if you think about it. So offering bhoga and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra are the two biggest and the best activities we can very easily do. We don't need to shave our head for that, change our dress, wear saffron, go to the Himalayas. Stay at home. Yeah. What other activities? Our day-to-day work. So housework as well. Looking after children, looking after your spouse, looking after your parents, looking after, friends. How can we connect them to Krishna? If we are doing it with that consciousness, all of those activities become akarmic. Yeah. So start thinking about, this is homework. In your own day, how many akarmic activities are you performing? Yeah, so it's just spirituality is not a change of dress or place or appearance. It's a change of heart. So it's just a change of consciousness, yeah? So let's look at this verse together. Tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatrapto nirashraya karmanya abhipavrattopya naiva kinchit karoti saha. Okay. Shiva, can you read translation?
Abandoning all attachments to the result of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs fruitive action.
No fruitive action.
No fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertaking.
Correct. So who is this he? He is the person who has actually understood this transcendental knowledge. So Lord Krishna is explaining over here that such a person has abandoned all attachments to the results of activity. Brings you back to Karma Yoga. Yeah? See how all the chapters are linked? Yeah? And that person, he actually performs no fruitive activities. Fruitive means karma kanda activities. What is karma kanda activities? Those activities which we perform only for our,
Like earning money?
yeah, but only for our pleasure,
Only for
only for our sense gratification. Those are called fruitive activities. So a person who has understood this knowledge performs no fruitive activities. Yeah? And he is, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. What does this mean? And there's a picture of, who's this picture of? Hanumanji. What is he doing?
Just like
Flying. Where do you think?
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka. To do what?
Save
Huh?
Sita.
Save Mother Sita. And what did he do in Sri Lanka? He also did one famous thing.
He burnt
Yeah.
his tail.
He burnt the whole of Lanka. And then he also, wanted to pass on the message to Mother Sita. So if you look at it, what is he doing? He's destroying. He's full of anger. Yeah, you can't burn something unless you're angry, right? So he's full of anger. He's destroying things. He's uprooting trees in Sri Lanka. Yeah, he's ready to kill anybody who's coming in his path. Are these so-called good activities? But why is it good when he does it?
The purpose is for goodness.
Yeah, purpose is to goodness. Whose goodness?
His devotion to Sri Ram.
Yes, his devotion to Sri Ram. Because see, goodness is a very relative term, isn't it? It's good for Mother Sita, for bad for Ravana, what he was doing. Yeah. So what this verse means is, on the outside, sometimes we have to continue with our work. We don't give up anything. Spirituality is not about subtracting anything. All we have to do is add the Lord to our lives. Once we add the Lord to our lives, everything else smoothens out. And we can add the Lord to our lives by attending these sessions, chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, offering bhoga, yeah, so on and so forth. So even the so-called, although we are engaged within this material world, just like Lord Hanuman, completely engaged in the material world. So anyone who's looking from the outside will think, what is this monkey doing? Yeah, he was a monkey, right? But ultimately, his heart was completely surrendered to the Lord. Okay, so we have to walk in his footsteps. And then the last section is sacrifice. Means the fruit of all activities is ultimately to gain Vedic knowledge, which leads to liberation and pure devotional service. So for example, when we are chanting, we are sacrificing our time. Anything in the material world requires sacrifice. Parents looking after children, they're sacrificing so much. Children going to school, they're sacrificing their playtime. So on and so forth. Yeah. So all of us are sacrificing. But our sacrifices should be such that ultimately they push us closer to the Lord. So how do we, actually acquire this transcendental knowledge? Vivek Prabhu, would you like to read line by line, please?
Tadvidhi pranipatena
Tadvidhi pranipatena
pariprashnena sevaya
pariprashnena sevaya
upadekshanti te jnanam
upadekshanti te jnanam
jnaninastattvadarshinaha.
jnaninastattvadarshina. Would you like to read the translation? Lakshmi.
Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquiry form is a submissively and render service onto him. The self-realized soul can important knowledge onto you because they have seen the truth.
Yes, so how do we actually get this transcendental knowledge? Is by turning to a teacher. A teacher who has experience in the knowledge. Just like when you want to study engineering, you go to an engineering college. You don't go to a physiotherapy college, do you? The same way, when you want to learn transcendental knowledge, you approach a guru who is expert in transcendental knowledge. That is why it takes us back to the beginning of the chapter, that Guru Shishya Parampara. So important. It is so important. And if you remember our first session, I had pointed out that this ISKCON, this organization, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, ISKCON, it comes under which parampara, Guru Shishya Parampara? Does anybody remember? Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya Parampara. So coming from Lord Brahma, and then Madhvacharya was the main teacher in the disciplic succession. and then Gaudiya. So Gauda Desh is the area in near Mayapur, Calcutta, Bengal. Yeah, so it was mainly propagated from there. So hence why Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So that line of disciplic succession. So it's really important. Hence why we follow this particular Bhagavad Gita as it is, translated by Srila Prabhupada. This question many a times arises. There's so many renditions, versions of the Bhagavad Gita in India. Even Mahatma Gandhi has written a Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. So there's always this question: why can't we, follow other Bhagavad Gitas? So we can follow any Bhagavad Gita if at the end we reach the same conclusion that Arjuna reached. Yeah. So it is very important to understand which parampara the Bhagavad Gita has been written in. So what authorizes Srila Prabhupada is that he is coming in a parampara. Otherwise it has no meaning. You might as well put that book away if it's not in a Guru Shishya parampara. Because it's written in the Bhagavad Gita itself, the shloka we just read. Yeah, that we have to approach a Guru. Okay? So let's conclude over here. What happens when we get this transcendental knowledge is that it burns to ashes all the reactions of material activities. All our karmic reactions are washed off. Yeah? Not only the desires, but also the seeds of the desires are washed off. Yeah? And then one who undertakes these akarmic activities is actually self-realized. Yeah? And then finally, Lord Krishna is concluding. Teja Prabhu, would you like to read 42, please?
Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight.
Yes. You remember all of this started because Arjuna gave up his weapons and gave so many reasons to not want to fight. Lord Krishna is saying that is only due to ignorance. Although Arjuna was talking big things, non-violence and going away and not being attached. Actually Lord Krishna is saying that's all ignorance. This is real knowledge what I'm giving you now. So wipe off that ignorance, stand up and fight. Yeah? Okay. So any questions? Any realizations? Any thoughts? Yes. Lots to absorb. It's not the easiest of chapters. Yeah. Any questions?
I had something.
So, if you don't have the chanting beads, then just let me know. We can get the chanting beads as well. Thank you so much, Mataji, for cooking.